know sometimes it's hard for you to clearly see just how you're gonna keep it together. Your obligations and responsibilities, how you gonna meet them here? How you gonna make it one more time? Now let's hear the truth of it. You want much, much more than this. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You've been so haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the breath, you're the light of the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? The light of the universe. Oh yes you are. Oh yes you are. I know sometimes it's hard to hold your head up high and show the world you're out there together. You think of things that make you wanna run and hide. Who will love you and maybe who could you trust to understand? Now let's see the truth of it. You are much, much more than this. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? There's no haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. You're not the things you have done. You're not the words that you said. For the heartache that you're going through. Oh, you are the bright of the sun. You are the flower of the moon. And in your presence, the things that seem hard fade away. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're so haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the breath, you're the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? The light of the universe. You're the light of the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're so haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the breath, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? The light of the universe. You're the light of the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard?
Good morning, Open Heart, and welcome to our live stream for this Sunday, November the 22nd, 2020. We are so thankful that you have joined us today for our live stream. Thank you again for all of your support, your encouragement, all of the kind words, the comments, your contributions, everything that you do to make this live stream. It's really a labor of love for me and for all of the other people who put components together to make up this celebration. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. And as we enter into this Thanksgiving week, again expressing gratitude, stay safe and know how much, as always, I greet you. I bless you. I see God in you. Namaste.
Father, Son, and Mother Moon, we invite that which is opposites to work together and prove that they are one. In this sacred space, we invoke and invite love, light, presence, oneness. We welcome Spirit Divine.
Our theme for this month is unapologetically metaphysical. And our daily affirmation, won't you say it with me where you are? I am a metaphysician. Because I know that my thoughts create my reality, I see and experience the world differently. Though I'm not always understood by others, I stand in my truth. I manage my intention and attention and welcome a new reality. Good morning, and these are our announcements for this Sunday, November the 22nd, 2020. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. On behalf of my wife Emma and I, we wish you a very, very happy Thanksgiving. And please, whatever you do, make this a safe one. We know that this is an unusual time. These are unprecedented times, but we have to do what we can to stay safe. This is not a joke. This is not about politics. This is about being safe and the safety and well-being of one another. Whether you have to stay home this year and do it virtually, do whatever you can to protect yourselves and those that you love. And again, have a happy Thanksgiving, to be grateful and thankful and appreciative for all that we have. Again, an attitude of gratitude, a sense of thankfulness, and an inclination toward appreciation. As always, we want to say congratulations to our November babies. Congratulations on another rotation and journey around the sun for Nislin, Aziza, Judy, Paul, Chris, and Hania. Happy birthday. We remember in prayer our Open Heart family members. We continue to know the truth for you, the Lee family, the Gilmore family, the Joyner family, Mary Kirkland, Gail Hunter, Renee Crone, James Baker, Daryl Lowe, Sydney Moonflower, Vanessa McVeigh, Carolyn Head, Virginia Walker, and Cindy Arp. Cindy Arp is the sister of Judy Card. She's having a pacemaker put in this week, and we are already knowing for her a successful procedure. We're knowing for those on our prayer list who are grieving the loss of a loved one, that you see and that you feel and that you know the presence of that comforter, the presence of that which helps you to bring you strength and guide you through this time. For those on our prayer list who are experiencing the challenge and seeing the challenge of illness, that you know your wholeness, that health and healing are yours, that already it is happening for you. Those that are on our prayer list for whatever reason that it is, and all of you continue to hold the truth, to hold the space to know exactly who it is that you are. And so it is. Each Tuesday at 12:30 p.m., our midday love grid meditation led by Virtania Allen. You can connect via our website, ohsc901.com. find yourself there this week to be able to center down and to meditate. It's always, I'm appreciative of people who take the time to submit a video of themselves doing an affirmative reading. I'm so grateful to Gail Hunter for this week's affirmative reading. You too can do so. Send your video, jgilmore@openheartspiritual.org. We provide this opportunity for you each and every day at 8 a.m. Central Time, our daily affirmative prayer call, 901-586-8755. Start your day or continue your day with prayer, led by one of the members of our prayer team.
Need your help a little bit on this one. Happiness is in your hands. You must believe. How can you make the best of life? Chase away your doubt and fear. What must you do to leave the dark behind? The light within your mind will make it clear. Happiness is in your hands. You must believe. All you give to everyone flows right back to you. Don't you know that you are everyone, and everyone reflects what's inside of you? Happiness is in your hands, and you must believe. Look inside and you'll see the light. God's love is there, and it's free. Joy will grow if you plant the seed. Just believe. Watch it grow and feel the ecstasy. Give the gift of joy. Praise all who hear you. You raise everyone who's like you're near. Above their sadness and their fear. Happiness is in your hands. Look inside and you'll see the light. God's love is there, and it's free. Joy will grow if you plant the seed. Just believe. Watch it grow and feel the ecstasy. Give the gift of joy. Praise all who Happiness is in your hands. Happiness is in your hands. Happiness is in your hands. You must believe.
Today's affirmative reading comes from the Daily Word. I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. Grandparents, parents, siblings, members of my extended family, teachers, friends, co-workers. Every person I've known has, by his or her example, helped me feel more deeply what it means to be human. Some have encouraged my curiosity. Some have taught me life skills. Some have modeled positive attitudes and behaviors. Some have loved me fully and unselfishly. And some have helped me learn to love even when loving felt difficult. Today I remember the people whose lives have touched mine. I pause to think kindly of each one of as I savor memories of time we spent together. Whether we're still in one another's lives, have lost touch, or are separated by death, I know the experiences we have shared continue to enrich our lives and deeply bless us on our spiritual journeys. I remember you always in my prayers. Romans 1:9.
Quand les montagnes s'éloigneraient, quand les collines chancelleraient, quand les montagnes s'éloigneraient, Dieu fera tout comme il promet. Mon amour, oui mon amour, ne s'éloignera point de toi. Mon amour, oui mon amour, ne s'éloignera point de toi. Quand les montagnes s'éloigneraient, quand les collines chancelleraient, quand les montagnes s'éloigneraient, Dieu fera tout comme il promet.
Thanks 1,000. I get excited over making connections. When I discover a thread between people, things, places, etc., I get excited. I know not everyone does, And sometimes people look at me like I'm crazy when I share the fact that I've learned a new connection between me and them, or them and something else. And I know the way that my wife looks at me when I share those things with her. But I really do. It's something that's important to me, and I know that it's a part of my whole makeup, my personality. Excited about connections. So you're just going to have to bear with me today when I tell you about A.J. Jacobs, a person that I learned about. And when I learned about his journey, I got really, really excited. Many of you at Open Heart know that I've shared with you in the past about my experience one day, how I had sat down in a restaurant and I had started blessing my food, and how the sense of gratitude welled up in me because I thought about there in that moment that not only was I sharing a meal, but I also was sharing in my own prosperity with the people that worked in the restaurant, the people that cooked the food, the people that grew the food, that processed the food, all of those things. And A.J. Jacobs did something similar, but he took it way beyond what I've ever done. He kept finding himself in a sour mood, and he wanted to exchange things. He noticed everything that was going wrong. Anything that was wrong, he saw that, and it put him in a sour mood day after day. And one of the things we have to realize is that part of how we evolved, that sour mood or noticing things that go wrong helped us to survive, because our ancestors needed to remember those mushrooms that were poisonous, those animals that were dangerous, all of those things that helped protect them and to get us to where we are today. But in that process, it's wired our brain so very often that's what we notice, to the exclusion of everything else. And it keeps us in a deficit mindset where we worry about what we're missing rather than focusing on what we have. So A.J. Jacobs decided to flip the script. He felt like he needed to do something to be thankful for. He said he wasn't a particular religious person, but at dinner, he would thank the handful of people who helped to get the food on his table. And he said one night his son said to him, "Well, Daddy, you know those people can't hear you, right?" So he thought about what his son said, and he decided to find the one thing that he was grateful for and to express what he would call extreme gratitude. Something that would cause him to go out of his way to say thank you. And it came to him. Coffee. Yes, that's right. Coffee. That's the one thing that he would thank people for and go to the extreme to say thank you, because it was something that he enjoyed. Every morning, he would go to his local coffee shop and get a cup. Every morning, he would enjoy his hot, warm beverage of coffee. And so the process that Jacobs engaged in took him thousands of miles to be able to say thank you to literally 1,000 people or more. It took him all the way to Colombia, because as he thought about his cup of coffee, he looked at the coffee and he thought about the fact of what it took for him to have that cup of coffee in his hand every morning. He knew that he had to have something to contain the coffee. So he began to appreciate the cup that the coffee was poured into. He appreciated the logo that was on the coffee, the sleeve that protected his hand from getting too hot, the lid that was on the coffee, the person who served him the coffee, the person who owned the coffee shop. And through this whole process, he continued to say thank you. And the more he delved into the whole process of the coffee getting to him, he found the people that were connected, called them up, sent them emails, said thank you to each and every one of them. Some thought he was crazy, but many others appreciated that he acknowledged the things that they did, the contributions that they made to make it possible. He ended up flying all the way to Colombia, to the place where they grew the coffee, and met the people, the particular farmers who were responsible for getting the coffee from Colombia to the United States. all of the things that he did. And over time, he found that he had indeed said thank you to over 1,000 people. Thanks 1,000. And along the way, Jacob's learned some things. He says that first of all, he learned about what he calls noticing. That we can't be grateful for something if our attention is scattered. So he started a process that every time he went into the coffee shop, he put his phone away. He would take time to notice his surroundings in the coffee shop. The person that was serving him coffee, he would look them in the eye and he would speak to them. He got to know them by name. He started to learn about their families and learn about their situation and circumstances. But it allowed him in this process of noticing to develop an even deeper sense of appreciation. The next thing that he learned was about affirmation and recognition. That we become grateful when we affirm our good and we recognize the others in our lives who help to bring it about. I know we live in a society in which people talk about rugged individualism. I did it my way. I pulled myself up by my own bootstraps. But that's not true. We all are here. We all experience things. We all have things because of the contribution and the interplay of other people in our lives. The affirmation and recognition. Recognition is important. There's something that's called responsibility bias, and that's where we tend not to include others. I'm going to ask you a question. Who created the polio vaccine? Some of you are historians or trivia experts will probably say Jonas Salk. But did you know that Jonas Salk actually worked with a team of at least 6 other people in developing the vaccine? But Salk took the entire credit for it. As a matter of fact, when they announced it with the cover on Time magazine and acknowledged he was the one that was on there, when they held the press conference to announce the discovery of the polio vaccine to the world, Salk got up and took thanks for it and didn't acknowledge the other people on his team that had just an equal part in it. And many of them left out of that room in tears because of him not recognizing that. We overemphasize so often individual achievement, and when we do, we don't realize that we really never do anything alone, but we are connected and have a great network of people to help us. The next thing that Jacob said that he learned in this process is to savor the moment. Savor the moment. In other words, to let the appreciation build. Allow it to build and find ourselves just immersed in that appreciation, immersed in the gratitude. One of the things that can happen for us is that we can get hundreds and hundreds of compliments and let there be one negative criticism. And what is it that so often we focus on? You're right. That one negative criticism in the midst of all of the compliments and things, when we don't learn how to savor the moment. We can use gratitude to shift, to help us to shift. Begin saying, I am grateful. And as we say, I am grateful, all of the things that follow that gratitude, all of that, being grateful. But what if you don't feel particularly grateful? Sometimes you just have to appreciate yourself into it. You have to tap into your divine connection and begin to understand again that we are a part of Source. We are expressions of Source. We tap into our divine connection and begin feeling ourselves, feeling this place and this sense of gratitude, to recognize that, as Meister Eckhart says, if the only prayer you ever say your entire life is thank you, that is enough. As we tap into our divine connection, it allows us to see back of all things, as the people, the old school, New Thought people used to like to say. But as we tap into that connection, we see that we are expressions of God. We recognize that which provides us, and is the channel and the source of all things. It's already done in the mind of God. When we appreciate that, we appreciate the connection that we have with one another. We appreciate the fact that we are expressions of one another. We recognize that. And when we do that, when we see that connection, when we appreciate that connection, we do things that acknowledge that. We do things that further that. We do things that live from this place, this place and this understanding. This should not be a political statement. This is an act of love. It's an act of love. Love for ourselves, love for yourself, and love for the people around you. Love for the people that you love. Love for the people that you don't know. Extending appreciation for all. It has somehow become, in this world that we are in right now, this society that we are in, where we are so divided, where if we would just see one another, but ultimately expressions of God. I've seen over and over again people lamenting the fact that friendships and relationships of many, many years have been lost in recent years and in recent months, divided over this particular political candidate or that particular political candidate who they don't really ultimately know and who doesn't know them, and the people they truly know, how there's been a separation and all of that. There has to be something that gets us back into the place where we recognize who we truly are and the truth of who we are. Thanks 1,000, gratitude. There was a Zen master who taught a very simple path to enlightenment. There were people that would find their way to her. They traveled many, many thousands of miles, much in the way that A.J. Jacobs did in order to say thank you. But they would travel sometimes thousands of miles to find out what her secret, her simple steps and path to enlightenment was. And there was a man who went to see her, and he waited for his turn to talk with her. And when she shared with him what it was that provided her with so much enlightenment and provided many others with enlightenment, it was really simple, almost to the point where he became upset when he realized how far he traveled. But it was this. She advised everyone who came to her to adopt a mantra and say many times a day, under all conditions. The mantra was, "Thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever." Many who came to her were upset by this advice, and they left disappointed, even angry. But tradition has it that all who took this advice to heart and practiced it found peace. And here's why it works. When you decide to be grateful for everything and in all conditions, you instantly transcend the earth plane of opposites and enter the plane of spirit, the plane of unity, where all is one and all is pure potential. And it's from this place of unity comes fortuitous coincidence. It comes miracles, and it comes instantaneous transformations. And you might ask, how can you tell when you're in that place and plane of unity and spirit, that instead of finding something to be grateful, instead of trying to feel grateful, something in you just wells up, something deep within happens, something changes you, and even without having a reason, even without knowing why, you feel grateful and thankful for life and for spirit and for source itself spontaneously. Thank you 1,000. Thanks 1,000. And so Infinite prosperity is mine to share. Thank you so much for your support of us through your conscious giving. We know that times can be uncertain, but you continue to support Open Heart, and it is truly appreciated. You can do so via our app. You can do so online or text the word GIVE to 615-422-4292. Thanks again.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know that the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know that the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling to make it through another day, you got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. God's work is mighty and marvelous. God increases our lives every day. And my soul magnifies the Lord. Yes, God's love redefines my existence. Yes, God's peace resurrects my life. Oh yes, God's joy, well, it's lifting me. It's lifting me. It's lifting me up. God's joy, oh yes, said it's lifting me, lifting me up. See, God's will is
our plans. And when we know in God we will stand, and we'll say, let it rain or shine, I will be safe in the Spirit, in a house that God built for me. Don't labor in vain, just to let the Lord let it build a house, and don't labor in vain, except the Lord build a house, we labor in vain, don't labor in vain.